Hi there, it's Katia from So Pretty. I've been speaking to many friends over the last few weeks, and many of us will be sharing the concern that our NHS staff are lacking basic equipment, including face masks. So I just wanted to just encourage and maybe just urge everyone who is currently stuck at home and have a sewing machine that they can maybe help the NHS staff and perhaps just make 4, 5, even like 6 masks because they're quite easy to make, and we can all contribute and donate to NHS just to help them because they are currently working long shifts, 12 hours a day, trying to save many people's lives. And this is the least thing that we can do, not being able to get back to our jobs, and sharing exactly the same hobby can hopefully make a big difference. So I just want to challenge everyone today just to help the NHS staff and to make few masks. If you can make more, that's absolutely great. Or maybe you can teach your children at home or your friends over the social media how to make one. I will be putting a proper tutorial over the next 24 hours. But for now, I just want to show everyone what they can do with a little bit of fabric. You can use any scraps that you have at home. Ideally, cotton-based fabric will be great. You can also, if you have any special filters, they could just put inside the mask just to make it a little bit more protective. But the cotton-based masks are reusable. They can be washed. And hopefully the NHS staff will be able to use them and not throw away in a bin after every single use. So I'm just going to show you what we currently have. So we have one of our masks, just a second. So I just made a quick prototype this morning. So you can. So this is one of the masks. I've just used blue cotton material because we are donating those ones to NHS staff. I just want to show you how that is made. It's extremely easy. You don't need any specific pattern. You just need a square which measures 8 inches by 15 inches. It's double, and then you can just put cotton straps on the back. It could also just put elastic. So we are making few with elastics and few with just a cotton tape, so it can the mask can be strapped at the back. You also have a little pocket on the inside, kind of little opening. The pocket is left on purpose open because ideally you want to put some filters inside, or if the NHS staff will have like certain filters they want to use just to increase the protection, they can also just use that pocket, and they can just take the filter out and wash it again. So just a few pleats, and it's very easy to use, very comfortable. And as I said to you, you can just use any fabrics that you have at home, even old t-shirts. You can use cotton, any unused cloth. It could be bed linen, it could be t-shirts, as I said to you, that you're not using, or if you have any scrap fabrics, you can also just use. It's great to use your scrap. So I'll show you how to do it. It's very easy, and it takes not more than 5 to 10 minutes to make one of those. Once you have them pre-cut, they're very easy to make. So the first thing we need to do, we need to cut a strip of fabric. So the fabric is 8 inches by 15 inches, just a strip, just a rectangular strip. So what we're going to do, we're just going to put the right sides of the fabrics together. This fabric doesn't have right sizes, makes it a little bit easier to make. So we're just going to put the good sides together. We're going to pin the fabric, and we're just going to stitch alongside the open ends of the fabric in order to create a loop. We are going to leave a little opening in the middle. I've just made one here so I could just show everyone what to do. So it's, as you can see, the fabric is stitched from one end, and we're just leaving about a couple of inches opening. So that's going to form the back opening that I showed you. on the back of the mask, so we can just put some insert or some extra filters. So once we stitch it from the top, halfway through, we leave a little opening, and then we're going to stitch the other side. Do back stitch at the beginning and the end, because that's going to make it a little bit easier to use. And then what we're going to do after that, we're just going to open the fabric, and the centered opening that we've left with the gap is going to be right in the center. So all we need to do is just to stitch the two open ends of your fabric. Before we do that, we will be putting cotton tape inside. Okay, so you can just take one of the cotton tape and just tuck it on inside. We're gonna pin on either side here, okay, and on the other side, in order to stitch them all together. And then after we've done that, we're gonna pull everything out of that gap, and we're gonna take it out. The other option, which is slightly easier, I think, will be to stitch. I'm just going to turn the camera towards my machine so I can just show you what you're doing. So the other option will be just to stitch alongside the two open ends, but I'm not going to be stitching to the very end. I'm just going to leave a little gap, maybe an inch gap, so I can just tuck the cotton or the elastic at the end. So I'm just going to stitch alongside here. I'm just going to, if the fabric is slightly thicker, you can open the seam allowance to either side. And when you get to the other end, again, I'm not going to stitch to the very end. I'm just going to leave a little opening at the end, so I can just tuck the tape inside that little pocket. So you have pockets on either side of this fabric. And I'll do exactly the same on the other end. My fabric is very thin, so I don't have to open it, but I'm just going to do it just for extra comfort. Then I'm just going to backstitch here. As I said, we're leaving opening on either side. Okay, so after we've done that, we're just going to take the fabric, we're going to put our fingers through the pocket, and we're going to pull everything out facing the right side. I thought that that option is slightly easier. So what I'm going to do now, so here, this is your square. So it looks like a little square with a pocket in the middle. So what I'm going to do next, I'm just going to put the cotton tapes in that little, in the little gaps that I've left. And the opening of the pockets, it's all to do with how thick your ribbon or your cotton tape is. And I'm just going to put one pin on either side. So I'm just going to pop another one here. If you are struggling to pop them in, you could just use one of the pins or something sharp just to tuck your ribbon inside. And we do exactly the same thing to the other two ends of your face mask. As I said to you, instead of putting those cotton tapes, you can put elastic. You can put anything in order to fasten the mask around your face. I think that the cotton tape is quite a good option because you can adjust it to somebody else's face. I just left a tiny little bit of smaller opening, so I'm just going to open it here just to make it slightly larger for my cotton tape. So the tape is going to go in. As I said to you earlier, if you want, you can stitch the cotton tape first, but I think it's slightly easier just to tuck it after that. So what we're going to do after we've pinned the cotton tape, so it looks like that. So you have a square with the 4 cotton tapes coming out from either corner of your square. So the next thing we need to do, I'm just going to turn the camera down so everyone can see. So the next thing we need to do is we need to create a couple of pleats. So the first one, so if you want, you can just mark those ones, or if you've got good eye for measurements, you should be able to do that directly on top of the fabric. So one here, I'm going to do exactly the same thing on the other side. And I'm just going to do maybe another pleat in the center. So it looks like I've got 3 little pleats. Try to make the ends line up slightly better so they're not, so the corners just look pretty even. So this is what we have. Okay, so all we need to do next to finish it off, we're going to be stitching on the right side of the fabric from here over the pleat to the very end, and we're going to do exactly the same thing to the other side. So all I need to do is just take that one to the machine. If you want, you can increase the length of your stitch because depending on the fabric, but there's quite a bit of thickness here. So I'm just going to back stitch, and I'm just going to go over quite close to the end, maybe 3-4 millimeters, and you can back stitch. You can back stitch over the ribbon a couple of times just to make it a little bit more robust and a little bit more secure. And I'm just going to do exactly the same on the other side. You can go over the pins if your pins are horizontal. There we go. So once we take all the pins out, you're going to snip all the unwanted threads, and we're ready to go. A little bit of pressing, okay, and the mask is ready to go. I'm just going to turn the camera towards me so I can just show everyone. So here is that little pocket at the back. It's almost invisible. If you want, you can just give it a little press. But yeah, that mask is ready to go. So you can put it here, tie the back. I've got lipstick over, but it's very easy to make. So please, let's encourage everyone, and just to challenge you today, just to make a few masks and maybe take it to the community center or to the local NHS, or if you have anyone in your family working for NHS, perhaps they can distribute them to the hospital. So thank you very much for listening, and I'll be looking forward to receiving all your images of masks so we can just see all different designs and patterns that you decided to use and fabrics, so we can spread it to the community and hopefully encourage everyone to make some and help the NHS staff once again. Okay, thank you for listening, and it's Katy once again from So Pretty.